soldiers were always the same. We never had bacon and eggs, you know. It was very often a porridge. Because that's what the breakfast consists of.
When did you join up?
16th of May, 1916.
1916.
Yeah.
And what were you in?
The Royal Field Artillery. Horse regiment, 6 horse teams. I always rode the pair in the front. They always chose a man to ride in the front. 2 in front, 2 in the middle, 2 in the rear, in the what we call in the wheel. And that was the way our horses, our guns were torn around the road.
What, you were carrying a piece of, pulling a piece of artillery,
Yeah.
a cannon.
Oh no, we were putting our guns.
Right.
And our ammunition wagons.
What sort of guns were they? In fact, they weren't like the ones you've got today.
No, strangely enough, as far as the shape of the English guns, this is army guns I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We used to have the pressure armor and against the great, and pull the lever, and they improved a good deal, but they haven't. You know, the guns were just as active in my day as they were in the present time. If you go anywhere within reach of what ours we fire what was called 4.5 howitzers, and once you load a howitzer, you got to fire it. If you say a battery consisted of six batteries, 1 regiment. 4 batteries were guns, and the other 2 were howitzers. And the difference between a gun and a howitzer is you unload a gun, but you couldn't unload a howitzer. Once you put with the gun, you put the shell and the cartridge were attached. They'd go in and you fire them. But as far as the howitzer was concerned, you fire the shell, put the shell in first, and the cartridge were separate. And once you put them in, you had to fire them. No question about that. Oh my God.
And Grandpa, how long did it take where were you taking these guns?
Well, that was our only form of defense, my dear.
Yes, but where? How far were you taking
In France.
them? Were you taking them to France?
Wherever we attacked the enemy,
Uh-huh.
on the plains or in the fields or in the roads or underneath the hedges, wherever. Our great concern was to conceal ourselves as much as we could, Once a field artillery battery was spotted, they never gave you no peace until you were all dead. Just about. Yeah,
Well, you lot did very well because you came back.
Oh my God.
So they didn't find you then, did they?
No. I'll make sure I will never forget that. We heard on the morning of the signing of the armistice, we heard that at 10 o'clock in the morning, that the armistice was going to be going to be signed at 11 o'clock, or half past 10, one off it. My God, I made for the nearest cellar I could find. I said, my God, I've got away with it this far. I'm gonna, and at that time, you see, the Germans had any amount of shells, but they were firing them indiscriminately. And you never know when you were going to be caught up in a barrage. Anyway, at past 10, they gave up. They gave in. They gave us the notification that they wouldn't fire anymore after 10:30. 2 of our fellows in one of the streets I forget the name of the town now, up near Mons anyway, standing underneath a house, and a shell hit the house, and all the bricks and mortar fell on them and killed them, 2 of them. And 5 minutes after that, the armistice was signed.
That's very sad, wasn't it?
Oh, I was not. I'll never forget that as long as I live. Oh,
When did you go to France? You joined in May 1916. When did you go to France?
I was fortunate. I didn't go to France until May 18, because they said they kept a few men in the battery that they might be able to, that they thought might be suitable to train for officers.
Right.
Well, by the time they found out whether I was eligible, damn it, it was 3 months' time. And when they found out, because they got the impression that I had a brain, but I didn't. and I hadn't any education. I had nothing in the world more than elementary education. And I was unfortunate insofar as when the day almost when I was 15, my two brothers joined up. They were eligible. Well, 3 years after that, I joined up. There was three of us gone. But I had to come on into the business to help father, because the other two brothers were called up. Every eligible man between 18 and 65 were called up. And my two brothers were two of them. I'll never forget, my eldest brother he was a good cook. And I'll never forget, I went to his cookhouse once, and he sent me away with a sandbag full of bits of, full of tinned meat and loaf of bread and that kind of thing. He was a beauty. And the funny thing about what was, we were on the line of march, and I shouted to a chap and said, "What regiment is this?" They said, "This is the 10th DCMI." I said, "My brother is in that. What's it called? Brewery, so he's in there. I'll go and get him." We couldn't stop, see. By the time he come out, he's gone. Tell you what.
How many? Well, you had 6 brothers.
We were 5 brothers
5
altogether.
brothers.
And 3 of us were eligible for the war.
Uh-huh.
And we 3 were in France. Lambert didn't do more than 5 weeks abroad in France before he was gassed.
Gassed?
We had gas in those days. We used to have to put on gas masks. We could smell the gas coming.
Could you?
Yes. My God. And horses, every horse that we had were blind due to gas. Isn't that terrible? Oh.
And you were with a load of mules at one stage, weren't you?
Oh.
I remember you talking about that.
We 23 trucks came down the line of march from Duran to Boulogne. 8 days. 8 mules in a truck. 1 man, 1 truck. And I was one of them. 8 mules in a truck. Lived with them. Slept with them. Fed them. 8 days. And the only thing that I chew was my what do you call it? Bandolier. One of they didn't eat all my clothes at night. One of they didn't. I had to make sure I covered it
How
up.
did you sleep?
Eh?
Shouldn't have God have slept.
Well, there was four fishing that way and 4 that way. I was in the middle. I had trusted luck. They knew I was there, and they knew me. And I was very good to them, and they respected me. But there were lots of ourselves got killed. Even on the offensive, sending a truckload of a lorry, a trainload of mules down the line. 8 mules in each truck. 1 man, 1 truck. A lot of the chaps chose, some of them chose the big trucks. Well, the silliest thing they could do. The bigger the truck, the more room they had to kick. I chose a small truck, and that truck was only just big enough for those 8 mules and me. And they didn't go very far, see. I spoke to them, got to know them, and of course I had to go to sleep. I couldn't do nothing else to do. They knew I was there.
How long was that, a week?
I didn't have anything. About 8 days, yes.
8 days.
Well, then than me.
It was long enough. Coming down the line from Boulogne to, no, not in Boulogne, Duren was the German port. Duren down to Calais. Or Boulogne it was. And I had no incidents. My mules behaved themselves very well. You would think that after 8 days they'd get disturbed, wouldn't you?
Mm.
But they stood on their legs 8 days without even lying down. Well, they couldn't lie down because I was packed in tight. And they they were comfortably tight, but that was the only thing that they couldn't lie down, and they kept each other off, didn't they?
Well, so when did you leave?
Well, as soon as I got down to Calais, as soon as I got down to Boulogne, we came over to Salisbury Plain, and we were demobbed from there.
Or you were demobbed?
Yeah,
And when was that?
May 1922.
We've got a pretty good memory for dates, haven't you,
Yes,
Grandpa?
I was there with that.
1922?
You see, we stayed there 18 months in the Army of Occupation. I was a member of the Royal Field Artillery, and we had field artillery, we had infantry, all sorts of.
Why do you question that date?
Because the war ended November 1980.
Eh?
Oh, I see.
What?
Why did you say stay so long after the end of the war?
We were a certain amount of British troops were stationed in Germany.
Oh, I see, just like they do now.
Yes, like I do now. That was the beginning. I was amongst the first Army of Occupation, as far as the Germans were concerned.
Oh, really?
Amongst the first.
And what did you do when you got back here then? Did you with all your family in Lostwithiel or
Oh
part?
well, as soon as I got to Dover, I was quitting. We made for Salisbury Plain, where we were dispatched, just demobbed, given the regimental, given the civvy suit, and sent home. Nobody knows the inconvenience, the privations, when we were going to be fed, and when we were, like a lot of standing around, like a lot of horses and mules and donkeys, waiting for the food to come to us. Yeah, we had to get best we could. I'll never forget what one chap stole half a pound of butter, and I stole a loaf of bread. He got summoned and I didn't. And they made me his escort to take the prison when I got. But he
Took him to prison for
Yeah.
stealing a...
Well, because for stealing butter. You only stole half a butter. It must have been. And I had a loaf of bread. They didn't find out. And they said, "Oh, bro, you take this man got to go to Gosforth. You escort him," which I did. And I was as guilty as he was. He never spoke. He never. He was unlucky, see. But
How did you get from Salisbury Plain? By train down to Lostwithiel?
oh yeah. Nothing else then.
Were the trains all right then?
Not bad.
Really?
Oh, they used. You see, when they sent a train away, they sent a train boat. Get out of Plymouth, Bodmin Road, St. Austell, Bodmin, Liscard, when we were demobbed.
And where did you come to?
That's what we
Oh, you were in Lostwithiel then?
When I was demobbed,
Mm-hmm.
we went from Salisbury Plain to Lostwithiel. I thought I could go home.
And where did you live in Lostwithiel?
Down where the shop is there, where our bakery used to be.
Oh, you lived above there?
We lived there, 5 boys and 1 girl,
Oh, I didn't know that.
and there was 6 bedrooms upstairs.
Uh-huh. And so when did you decide to get into local Lostwithiel politics?
Oh, I know that you could go in when you liked. And we had a ratepayers meeting, and somebody proposed that Sidney Brewer be nominated as a member of the council, and there were 11 of us who were nominated for 4 seats.
When was that? Can you remember that?
Yes, I can remember it. 1928.
1928?
Yes, I didn't join the council for 5 years or so. Didn't join the council as soon as I didn't think I had the brains. I didn't know if I had it there, but still, I did join the council in 1928. And there was about 11 of us elected, and they voted on them, these 11, and I was 4th. Only one of 4. Spencer Brown, Wilfred Jeffrey, and a man called Turner himself.
Oh, I remember Spencer Brown.
Yes. Yes.
And that, what's that up there? That
Oh my God.
picture on the wall.
Oh, you read it. I can't describe it. It was an election address given to me, presented to me by the local authority for my services to Lostwithiel. Take it down, read it.
Was that on your 90th birthday?
No. That was presented to me about 5 years after I was retired from the council. You can read it very well. And there's another one back behind me over there on that wall.
Mm-hmm.
They call that election addresses presented by the local authorities to a man who serves the council. Take it down and have it and read. It's worth reading.
Why did they make you a freeman?
Because because of our 45 years service to the council.
Oh, 45 years. And what year were you mayor?
I was mayor in 40. I was mayor in 50, 51, 51, 52, 53. I was elected, of course, I was mayor when the King George V died.
And you were mayor when Pat was born, and you were mayor when I was born.
Yes, yes. Most interesting. And yes, well, a very varied life. No. And we used to be an election every 3 years. If you were, and you would have an election every year, and perhaps there were always four candidates whose time was up, and they had a secret election.
Right.
Right. Very often we had 7 or 8. In my case, there were 11. Then I was 4th, and I never failed to get the first or second place in the elections. Never. From the time I was elected in 1928. So somebody had a certain amount of respect for me.
I don't doubt that for a minute.
No. And I'll tell you the thing that pleased me more than anything else. Wilfred Jeffrey, the best friend I ever had. He said to me, he said, you a fool, you know. He said, I ain't going to vote. I'm not going to canvass. I said, my God, I wouldn't like to go to an election without asking people for votes. So I went down to Bushy Down, you know what I mean? Down the moors, with the old Mrs. Phillip, the old people down there. I was the only one that did. Well, I was elected easily. He was 5th. And I was always a year senior to Wilfred. But he was wild when I told him, I said, you can't expect the people, the least you can do is ask people to vote for you. I did. I was having a cup of tea. I haven't had a cup of tea yet.
I'll get you one in a second, Grandpa.
Oh, my darling, I'm just going to cut a bit of toast too. Must eat something, wasn't I? You had your tea. No. Oh, my darling. Oh, you're a good boy. Yeah, he's my best friend.
You go and sit on Grandpa's lap.
He's my best friend.
Sit it. I've got it here. Sit there.
He
Oh,
don't like that one. He don't like that one.
oh look, he's lost his arms. Mummy will find them.
Oh.
I'll go and get you a cup of tea, Grandpa.
Well, I got to come out and have a cup of tea and a bit of bread and butter now.
All right.
I must go out and have it now. What's
Okay.
that?
Give Big Grandpa a big cuddle because we're going back to London tomorrow.
I shall miss you, shan't I? Yes.
Well, tell her. No, stand up. Stand